This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, yeah, I got the error here. That's where I came to know. Okay, no internet. Let me go back. Okay, I think that's not been created. Let me create it actually. So let's create an epic. Let me paste that here. I think the copy has gone. We'll see. Control V. Okay. So I was talking about area, iteration, the different states, like a new, in progress, etc. What is the reason for this? Right now, this is a new epic. Okay. Start date, end date, priority, effort, business value defined by your project management team, time criticality defined by your project management team. Effort is the this is the time, basically how many hours. I think let's, for the time being, let's put some hours here. Let us say, I would say, 180 hours. Okay. And then you have the deployment links. We'll do it later, not now. Related work, this is about adding your child items, like your features, etc., to make the association between your parents and child. Okay, let me go and save it. Okay, you can see updated by Purna just now. You can go back to the work items. It will come here, or else you can add another child item here as well. Okay, let me go back to work items. Click on that. This is how, right now you are in the work item section. You will see this item created, right? I think Kiran or someone, right? If you are using Jira, you can correlate how it is looking at. I mean, it is similar to Jira, how it I mean, how it works basically. Okay, you can see area, paths, etc., tags and everything. Let's quickly go and create the items. Okay, this time I'm going to create the feature, because feature is the child of your epic. Okay, I'll go and create three features here. Flight management, let's put it. Okay, and I'll segregate. I mean, this is the child of your epic, right? I given 180 hours. Just for our reference, I'll give it some 50 hours here. I'm not putting anything under any other fields. Okay, let's, and I'll mention it as a child of your you know uh, epic landing page. Let me click on this add link, add existing item. And what is our existing item? Take parent. You are adding a link from something, and then landing page. So if you are having hundreds of epics, right, you can basically search here as well. Okay. Okay, that's it. Now you see the parent is added to this flight management. I made an association. Click save. Okay, go back to the work items. You can see now two. Okay, similarly, let me go and add the other ways. You can open landing page if you are adding any child, right? Let me go. You can see the here. Now you see child here. Since I made an association, you can see here. Okay, there are, I mean, wherever you see an option, you can go and create your work items. Now I'm creating a child item to landing page epic, and the title is hotel management. Let's quickly spend some time. Basically, this is not a task, it is a feature. Okay, hotel management. Okay, it will open again the same fields you can see here. I'll give some effort, as let us say some 50 again. Let me save and close. Okay, go back to work items. Let me go and create another feature what I have. So you need a good amount of data to understand some of the outputs here basically. That's the reason I'm spending some 5-10 minutes. Okay, let me put cab management. And I will add the link, and the parent is landing page. You can see work items to link type is parent. I'm adding. Okay. Okay, and then I'm not changing any one of these things. Just give the effort as For this I'll give it as another 50. Save. 50 means these are all in hours. Okay, and we have one more feature, right? Train management. Let's add this one as well. Okay, feature, and this, let's give this effort as a 30. Okay, and then add existing item. I'm adding it to Epic, which is a landing page. Okay, save it. So now you added a Epic and features basically. Okay, now let's go and have a quick tour of all the other options that you have here. So the boards, backlogs, sprints, and queries. So what is a board? Board is here. It is a board is nothing but your Kanban board. You might have heard of it. We call it as a Kanban boards. Let's click on board. Let me. This is just a welcome message because we are using the first time. Let's click close. So what you see here, this is very important. Okay, you see on the top online reservation system team. So it is mentioning a team name as online reservation system. Okay, and it will show if there are many number of teams, it will show all those team names here basically. You might be wondered, hey, I never created a team, but where this online reservation team system team created. So basically when you create a project, right, by default it creates a team with the name of the project. That's the reason you see it here. And you see the board, under board you see and there are work items here, but currently it is empty. New, approved, committed, and done. These are the different stages of your requirement basically. So but there are different requirement types, right? Epic, feature, product, backlog, task. These are all the different work item types. Okay, then what this board is showing, is this a product backlog, or is this a feature, is this a task? Okay, so that's what you see here. On that, here I highlighted backlog items. So right now it is trying to show the list of backlog items and what are the different stages those items are in. Okay, how many, here you can clearly see how many features are in approved status, how many requirements are in new status, means nobody taken it, they are just part of your product backlog. How many items are committed for the development, how many items are completed the development. So that's what you see these are by default. If you want to add anything, you can add it. Okay, so that means not you, basically your project manager may think that, hey, these statuses are not sufficient for me, I want to add one more status. As a DevOps engineer, they will tell you, you will go and create those status additional statuses as well here. Okay, now you are seeing the backlog view, basically the view for the backlogs. So this is a board, right? And now if you want to see for features, just change it. Now you see I have created the features, right? Flight management, hotel, cab, and train. That's the reason those are being shown here. I have 4 features, everything is in the new status. You can see everything. See, you can directly go open your those items as well. Okay, and if you want to see backlog, just flip it. Okay, and then it will show some so these are the uh, b- uh, uh, reports that will show the progress of the project basically. Don't worry, you don't need to do anything, these are all built in. There are diagrams like reports like cumulative report, and then velocity report. We'll talk about it slowly basically, let's not, but because you don't need to do anything, based on the data what we enter in the work items, these will get automatically generated. Okay, and then let's go to the backlogs. Okay, backlogs, and see, every team will have a one board and a backlog and sprint, because you will have different teams. So you will change it through these drop down list. Backlogs, everything it is saying, hey, it is, there is nothing in the product backlog. The name itself is saying a backlog means product backlog items. It will show the product backlogs. Okay, I haven't created anything for this team. That's the reason. Not only for this team, for anyone I did not create anything. And you see the analytics. Okay, and you see now you can go back to the board. I mean, when you click on view as board, it will go to here, basically the first option. And then you have some columns option. So right now these are the things it is showing, basically. Okay, but let's not worry about this. And the planning, it will show how many sprints are there in your in your online reservation system project for this team. Everything what you see here is this are those for this team, basically, not for the entire I mean all the teams in your project. Okay, the current sprint is sprint 1, and it is showing no schedule date, no work schedule, no work, because I haven't done anything, basically. Okay, and again this is for features as well. You can see the features. Okay, and if I want to make some changes, I can go and configure the changes. So I'm just giving a quick tour how it looks before I go and make any changes. Okay, let's close this. And then sprints, here also it is saying you do not have any work schedule date, right? So it is asking schedule a work, then you will see the data here. So in sprints, what you see is a task board, backlog, and then capacity, analytics. It's about reports, burn down charts, etc. So task board, I mean the similar to boards here, right? In the boards you will see product backlogs or the features. In the sprints you have the task board. You see the tasks, basically the tasks are nothing but the leaf level items where a developer can pick it and develop it. We'll talk about it in just a minute. Okay, so everything is empty now. Okay, except the features in your Kanban board, right? And here for features you have the new, in progress, and then as I told you, we can go and add or change whatever we want, even the statuses as well. And there are some numbers here, 0 out of 5. Okay, similarly sorry, in boards, right? Even for backlog items you see some numbers here. Okay, these are, I mean I'll tell you what is the importance of these numbers. Okay, but this is just a quick tour before we do anything. Okay, now let me come back here. So now we have a product backlog, right? Let us think that your project may run into some 1 year. Okay, so as Kiran said, in sprint is nothing but a duration, basically. Sprint is nothing but a duration. Most of the teams, like I would say 99.99% companies or teams in the world follows 2 weeks sprint, means each sprint will contain 2 weeks duration. In that duration, how many requirements can be developed, that can be developed based on the availability of the resources, means capacity of the resources. Let us say you have 2 people in your team, and your sprint is 2 weeks. 2 people means 40 hours, right? Each week 40 hours, right? 40 plus 40. Okay, 80 hours per resource. You have 2 resources, that means 160 hours capacity is available for your team. Then your project manager will take only 160 hours of work, ideally. Okay, 160 hours of work, basically. So that will go as part of the sprint planning. Once the sprint planning is done, you will have the sprint backlog. Let me go ahead there. Now whatever you see here is a just a product backlog, but in the sprints you did not see, or you don't see anything here, but because you haven't planned it actually. Okay, so we need to plan all these things. Okay, now coming to the DevOps engineer, you might be thinking, hey, why I am doing it here? Point one, you also need to learn it, because at some point of time everybody I mean, because if you have 100 work items, not all 100 work items will be entered by your scrum master or a product owner or your project manager, right? They will basically distribute across all your guys, right? You have to go and enter, so you need to learn that one as well. The other one, Your role comes into picture when you need to configure these options for your team basically. Okay. Now, before getting into the action, right, let me go to some other slides. We'll come back to this slide. Okay. So as a DevOps engineer, what you need to understand and configure. So in any project, you will have these four different items, right? In your project, you will have different teams like a database development team, UI development team, and then your DevOps engineer is also part of your team, right? Okay, and then you might have a middleware team. You might have cloud team, etc. So you need to configure the teams as well. Okay, and you need to configure iterations or sprint. Okay, how many sprints should be there for your project, because that is defined by your project manager or your program manager, whoever it is. They will define in how many sprints they have to deliver this project. So you need to configure the sprints. And then capacity. Okay, so in general what happens in any company, most of the companies, right, there will be let us say 5 6 people in each team. Okay, so capacity is nothing but how many people are there and how many work hours are there. So just now we calculated, right, for 2 people for 2 weeks the total capacity will be 160 hours, because for each week you have 40. So you have 2 people, that means it went to 160 hours. Similarly, your project managers calculate like that, the number of hours available, which is equivalent to your capacity. But the problem that project managers or any people leader faces is, right, the tracking the capacity, because in sometimes there will be some 30 40 people. It's difficult for management to manage the capacity, means how many people are on leave. Okay, if some 5 people are on leave, people really don't know what items are getting affected. Because if someone is on leave, right, who is there to cover that development, who is there to cover that testing? Okay, if you are doing it manually in excel sheets, it doesn't give you any visual representation, right, or any notifications. See, since we are humans, it is always better to have some kind of automated reports or a kind of some visual representation. Let us say you have 100 hours of work to be completed in this week, but you don't have people to cover that 100 hours of work. Actually, that means you cannot deliver it. If there is a way to alert or to showcase that to your management, then management will become attentive basically. Or they think, oh man, I don't have required capacity for this week, I need to have some backup to cover this item. Okay, since people use excel sheets or some other tools, it doesn't give you all that thing. But here we will configure this capacity as well, so that project manager will be aware of whether they are running out of the resources or not, or they are having over resources, or over capacity. And then areas is, it doesn't have a significance in terms of the execution, but it is all about categorization. Okay, categorizing the work basically. And it is helpful in terms of the reports. Let us say I have 10 different types of requirements and four different people, or four different teams actually. Which team is working on which requirement, all those things can be categorized by these areas basically. So you have to understand to as to how to configure all these things. Okay, these are the different terminology that we use in our Azure boards. This is just for your, kind of a quick reference basically. If you are going for interview or anything, right? If somebody asks you, hey, what are all the different items that you configure or that you work in Azure boards? These are all the things: backlog items, Kanban boards, portfolio backlogs, sprint backlogs, alerts, favorites, groups, velocity chart, cumulative chart, etc. Okay, you can take a screenshot and put it yourself so that it will work as a quick reference. And then you see the capacity plan. And when you create a project, right, I selected as a Scrum methodology template. right? But you have other templates as well, Agile and CMMI. But guys, you might have remember, if you go back to 5 6 years, right? Every company used to highlight their status. We are CMMI level 1, CMMI level 2, CMMI level 5. Level 5 is the highest maturity company, right? So CMMI is the standard for any company in terms of the processes. That's the reason. I mean, before all this, evolved, right? CMMI was the standard. So CMMI has got their own templates for managing the requirements. Basically, later you have got into Agile and Scrum methodologies. Okay, Scrum is a part of Agile method, one of the Agile methodology basically. So, but in this tool or in any tool, right? When you say Agile, it will give you the basic Agile template. Scrum is one of the methodologies in the Agile. People don't know the difference. They use it interchangeably, Agile or Scrum. So, since all the companies are using Scrum, we will go. We are exploring Scrum only, but it doesn't make a big difference. So, when you are using these templates, what you need to understand and practice: epics, features, user story, or product back. PBI means product backlog item, and then tasks, bugs, issue or impediments, etc. So in any case, everything is a template here. Okay, as I told you, it doesn't matter how many fields are there. You don't need to understand them. All you need to understand them is, uh, how to add a new field, how to configure them, etc. That we will see it tomorrow, but not today. Okay, this is what I just did it. I did it and I come here because you can easily, uh, you can easily understand. Now, I established relationships between work items as well. So this is what we did, right? Epic and the child is feature. We call it as a portfolio backlog, or a team backlog, or product backlog. It is a context, right? That's why you can use any one of those terminology: portfolio backlog, or product backlog, or a team backlog. And when you come here, it is simply showing it as a backlog, but you can call it as a sprint backlog as well. So what it contains product backlog items, and to that the child is task. And when developers raises bugs, right, they can raise a bug against a task, or they can raise a bug against a product backlog. It is configurable. Okay, I will show you how to configure it. And then issue tracking, you call it as an impediment. I mean, not many people use it. You can forget it actually. Okay, so I just given different type. I mean, what is the difference between or different work items across these templates? Basically in Scrum, these are all the work item types, right? In Agile, you can see almost you have bug in Scrum, you have bug in Agile as well, epic, feature. And impediment, you call it as a issue in the Agile methodology. And the product backlog item, you don't have it in Agile, you directly call it as a task. Sorry, user story. So product backlog item is equivalent to user story, and a task you have here in both the places, and you have the test case. So the only difference is that the naming, it is a naming convention difference. Product backlog item and user story, both are different. That's why people interchangeably use this terminology. Some people say product backlog items, sometimes people say user story, but both are same. Okay, and the issue or impediment. Okay, in CMMI you have many more work item types than Scrum or Agile methodology. The main thing that you notice is the change request, because in CMMI is the process which introduces change management to any company basically. That's why you see change request as well. Why people use change request? I mean, once you start development, right, as per the contract, if if client wants to include some requirement to be developed, right, then they create a change request. It is a kind of some request basically, but you call it as a change request. That will come to the development companies. They will go and review and they accept it. Okay, and rest everything you see review, risk, etc. Okay, you see epic, feature, requirement, you have but additional things like review, etc. And if you take a basic, I mean, there is no methodology here, but you need to maintain your work item. That's why a simple thing: epic, issue, task. That's it. Okay, so these are the, I mean, number of work item types that you have across all different methodologies. Here you call it as a template. We are using the Scrum. Okay, this is just for your quick reference, anytime that you want to record. Okay, now let's get back to our work. Okay, so I quickly created this backlogs, sorry, work items, right? Epics and features. Okay, and you see in sprints there is nothing here. And what are the minimum prerequisites for your project manager to start? First, you need to have the teams, right? Create a teams, that is the first option. So how do you create? So you are in this project. Anything related to configuration, you need to go to the settings. In the bottom you can see project settings. Go to the project settings, and now let's start with the teams. Actually, let's go and create some teams. And before that, let's have a look here. This is about project details, right? Overview. You are in the overview menu. Your name and what process it is using, scrum. And then visibility is private. Only people who have access can access this. And then who is the administrator of this project? This is I created, right? That's why it is showing. Okay, and what are all the services that are available in this project? All the services are available. If you want to delete, you can delete. So as I said, let's go and create teams. Basically, click on the teams. Right now this is the default team created when I created it, right? Let's go and create it, new team. So I'll give it as a UI or UX. It doesn't accept UI dev team. Just leave it UI dev. Okay, and we can add the members. Okay, right now I don't have anyone other than me. I'm not adding any members. Okay, by default administrator will be part of the team basically. And in the bottom you can see add. Okay, let's scroll down. Basically, permissions, you can see what permission I'm giving to this team. I'm giving a permission called contributors. Okay, so always if you see the thing before slash is your project name, and after this is the actual permission group name basically. So I'm adding this guy to a group called contributors. Okay, there are predefined groups basically, and each group will have their own permission set. Means let us say you have an admin group, you have a contributor group, you have a read-only group. You can call it as a readers group basically. I mean, this is self-explanatory, right? Contributor means whoever is part of this team can contribute to this project in terms of adding requirements or modifying requirements or adding CI/CD pipelines, etc. Admin means they can do anything. They can add people, they can create teams, they can delete the people, they can delete the project. I will show you the list of all those things. Okay, right now I'm making this team uh, part of contributors basically. Now at the bottom, this is important one. By default, this item is checked. Create an area path with the name of the team. So in our slides deck, I shown you, right, areas as well. And I was talking about area is all about categorizing your requirements uh, for each team basically. It is helpful in the reports. I will show you what is that. Okay, let's go and create it. So now you created a team, and indirectly it created a area as well. I will show you where those areas will appear. Okay, let's go and create one more team. Okay, I will call it as db dev. Okay, and let it be contributors. Let's get a path created. Okay, so your area path name will also be db dev ui dev, like that. Okay, I mean, is it mandatory to create a area path when you are doing it? No, it's not mandatory. But if you do it at the time of creation of your team, you will give this. I mean, it will get the same name so that you don't get the confusion basically. But there might be some situations where you don't want to create an area path when you want to create a team. Okay, let's uncheck this one if that is the case. Now go ahead and create another team called middleware. Okay, and this time what I did, I unchecked this one, and he is a part of contributors. Let's create it. So, okay, this is enough for the time being. So I have three teams basically. Okay. Now let's quickly have a look at the permissions available. So these are the default groups that are available in your Azure, Azure DevOps project basically. Build administrators, contributors, project administrators, project valid users, and readers, DB dev middleware. I mean, by default, right? When you create a team, it will create a group as well. You can see, okay, for each team you can see here. And let's go and click on some contributors, okay. And here you will see who are all part of your contributors group. You see DB dev, middleware, online, and UI dev. It is showing you members of this group can add, modify, delete. Guys, this is a self-explanatory. You can have a go and look at it actually. Okay. This contributors group having all these permissions. Okay. What he can do, I mean, these are categorized like general, boards, analytics, and test plans. Okay. If it is not set means he cannot do. Not set and deny almost equal basically. These are equal, not almost. These are equal. Allow means whoever is part of this contributors group can delete a project as well. I mean, if it is allowed. If it is not set, he cannot do. If it is denied, he cannot do. Okay. If it is allowed, he can do that. I mean, most of the things you see, anything related to edit or modify, it is not set. If you even as I said, deny is also equivalent to that. Only the viewing related are allowed. You see view analytics, and you see he can create a test plans. I mean test, he can run the test, he can create the test, he can do the, you can view the test as well. Okay. And how many members are there in this online contributor group? These are all the teams that are part of this group actually. Valid users means anyone who is having a read only access basically. And settings, you can put some images, etc., just like your profile. Okay. Similarly, if you go back permissions, let's go and click at the build administrators. Okay. So I mean you can see many things are not set here. Okay. Since we are in the board section, you see some permissions. You have permissions in repos separately as well. We will look at that when we go to repos basically. So here also you can see not set. You can go and set actually. Okay, since he is a part of some build administrator, he is a build administrator, right? Not the project administrator. That's the reason you see most of them are not set. If you want to change, you can change it. And then project administrators, you see by default everything is grayed out because no one should be able to change the permissions of your project administrator. That's why it is grayed out. Okay. And you see everything is allow here. Most of the things are allow. He can delete, he can create, he can modify all these different items. You can guys go and spend some 10-15 minutes reading these things basically. Okay. Okay, so there might be some scenarios where you think that you need a you may need the combination of permissions from contributors group and build administrator group as per your project manager requirement. If your project manager requirement is not is not catered by these groups, then you can create a new group and set your own permissions as well. That is called a new group. After that you can go and set it actually. We'll see that, okay, slowly. Now basically in the teams I created 4 different teams, right? Okay, let me make one more tab. Let's go to home page. Now boards, right? Go to boards. Now in the boards you see all the teams that we created: DB dev, middleware, online reservation system team. This is the default one, and then UI dev. You can see all the different teams. Now let's change it to, I don't have any backlog items, so let's go to features here. So online reservation system team have got 4 different features to be developed. You can see that. Now if I change it to middleware, it is saying some issue. Hey, you haven't configured, no backlog iteration path was specified. You must select an iteration path. That's what it is saying. I'm not doing anything. Let me go back. Let me go to the boards. Sorry, planner, because it by default it will take me to the same team dashboard. Click on this project, boards. So it went to middleware. Middleware guys also don't have anything. Okay, work items, boards. It is going to middleware. Let me change it to, guys, I know it, that's why I'm just changing it. db dev. So db dev is not having any such issue, you see, features. Okay, now you see there is nothing available. Okay, and for UI, you see, middleware, you see, middleware is having the problem means area path was not set, etc. UI dev, UI dev is also not having problem because the area path, you remember when I was creating the team, only for one team I did not create the area path. That's the reason it was giving me an issue. Why it was giving me an issue? As I told you, your items are grouped into areas. For one team I did not create the area. That's the reason it was telling me, hey, you did not configure the area path for your team, go and create it. But for other teams I created the area path. Okay, that's the reason it was not giving me any issue, but rather it is showing me the empty template basically. Okay, now let's go to the work items. Now if I open any one of these things, right, you will understand. So now all my features, right, are under area path called online reservation system. If I open this, see, when I created a team, you remember, I for two teams, I checked that option, create an area path with the name of the team actually, dbdev UI dev. Okay, now I'm changing this train management to dbdev path actually. Okay, now I changed the area path of train management. Let me take a screenshot so that you will remember. Okay, now good. Come back to boards and see, now it belongs to dbdev actually. This requirement is under the path dbdev. Now if I go to UI, you see, I mean I don't have anything. If I go to online reservation system, initially you see I have 4 items here, including your train management system. Since I changed the area path from online reservation system to dbdev, okay, it stopped showing in this one. Okay, what does it mean? It means that the requirements that are being shown in these Kanban boards are driven by the area path. Okay, now if I go to dbdev, earlier it was showing empty. Now you can see train management because dbdev team is part of area path called dbdev. That's why it is showing me. Okay, now at least you understand, right, how the requirements are driven in terms of categorization in the Kanban boards. Any doubts? Hello.
Uh, yeah, hi. So, for this project, you said we are using the Scrum methodology, right?
Correct.
Where do we configure that?
Yeah, that's what I'm showing before and after, right? You need to know before and after. That's the reason I shown you the empty and then added the requirements. Now I'm going to configure uh, some of these area paths. That's the reason I'm showing before and after. Now you understand the requirements are driven by your area paths in terms of the display. not by the team you selected.
No, no, I
It is by
my
the
my question is a different one.
uh-huh.
So assume I have created a project. I have initially
Mm-hmm.
created with Scrum methodology.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't created any more items, but I came to know that we need to follow Agile methodology. So I need to change from Scrum to Agile, right?
No, you cannot change like that. Okay. Uh, it is fixed when you create the project, not only in this tool, in any tool. In the middle, you cannot change
Okay.
basically.
Can you go to project settings once? There I have
Yeah,
seen
I'm going there.
something like
I am
Scrum.
going there basically.
Can we click on that and change it?
Which one?
No, not here. On the Audio tab, we have a process for Scrum. Yeah. Can we change it here?
No, no, that's what I'm saying. You cannot change it. There is no possibility. It is all
Okay.
read
So
only.
when we create it, we need to choose the correct one.
Exactly. See, it is a very simple thing, right? I mean, forget about this tool actually. You are working for a project. Okay. Your team started using Scrum methodology. Do you see, did you come across any situation where your team moved from Scrum methodology to waterfall? No, it's not
No.
possible. See, your applications are designed based on the real time scenarios. Okay. All these
Okay.
tools, based on the real time scenarios. So you will never get into such scenario. I mean, if your project manager wants to move from one methodology to other methodology in the middle, that means that guy doesn't have any experience. That guy doesn't have any idea how that impacts your development. I'm sure that
Okay.
guy will definitely be fired after he takes the decision. I give you that assurance. Okay. Now let's go and do some project settings. Okay. We created the teams, and then next thing is let's go and do the team configuration. Okay. So basically, the general is it's about in your Kanban backlog board, right? Kanban boards. What he can see. I mean, you see features and backlogs in the drop down, right? Top right corner. If you want to see, you can see the epics as well. What are the work hours? You can select Monday, Tuesday. I mean, based on that one. And if testers are raising bugs, where do you want to associate those bugs? You want to associate those bugs with the requirements at a epic level or at task level or backlogs. Okay. Let's not get into here basically right now. Not the iterations. It's nothing but sprints actually. Let's not come here again. Let's deal with areas. Okay. Now we are in the DB dev team here. This DB dev team is part of DB dev area. You can see in the bottom. That's the reason when you create a requirement, if the requirement is falling under DB dev, then all those requirements will be shown for the DB dev. This is the team name. If is okay, there are some situations where your team part of many other areas. That means, see, you are a DB guy, right? This DB guy develop reports for train management, develop stored procedures or tables, etc. for your train management, cab management, everyone, right? But you have let us say even he develops database objects for middleware team as well. But each and every team is having their own area path, but some teams have to be part of many area paths. One classic example is DB dev. It doesn't matter how many teams are there, everybody is working on the development, everybody needs a database. That means you should be able to see the requirements of all other teams as well. How do you do that? First, let me go ahead and add uh, one more work item. Okay, let us say, let's go to work item. uh, Let me go and add a product backlog for the time being. I'm going step by step so that you can clearly understand it. Search for flights. I'm adding it. And I'll give some effort as 20 hours. And then add a related work as it's a flights, right? Who is the parent for search for flights? The parent is flight management. Just save it. Add one more item, one more product backlog, and the next one is book for flights, and give some hours as an again effort as some 20 hours for this, and add link as a existing item. It is a its parent is uh, this is what book flights, right? Book flights. That's it. Okay. Now let me for one person it doesn't have a boards, right? Sorry, area path, right? Who is that? Middleware. It is showing me an error. Go and select an area path. Okay, go to project settings, go to team configuration. For dev it is showing uh, that's showing that it is part of the, it is showing always online reservation because it is your project actually. Under that project you have these areas. Okay, and if I change it to UI, it will not have an issue because your team is already associated with this UI dev area path. If I go to middleware, it is showing me there are no areas selected. Select at least one area path. That's what it is saying. Okay, select area. So I'll put this. So this is a no default area, but I want to uh, add a separate area path for this guy. This is a middleware, right? How do you create? More button and then create a new child and give the area name is middleware. I'll give same name basically. That is it. Now you see default area is online reservation. Now is part of middleware. Okay. Now it is not showing. You just need to refresh it. Okay. What is this? Oh, sorry. This is so in the iterations it did not set. It is related to iteration. Okay. Areas it is already done. Okay. We'll talk about iterations. Yes, sir. This is talking about iteration. I don't touch the iteration now. Now the areas are defined. Now let's go and go to your uh, we'll handle one by one. Okay, boards, middleware. It is still asking me the iteration path. Now go to backlogs. Now it is making mandatory. Okay, okay. Let's go and create a iteration. I don't want to set the iteration now, but that's okay. Backlog iteration, right? Let's go here and I'll say simply for the timing I'm not setting it's sprint actually. I set this one, refresh it. Okay, because I set this one, it is done. Now go to I have two tabs, right? Let me go to the other tab, boards. For middleware, now we see since I set the area path, now it is showing me the empty dashboard here. Okay, now for the backlog items or features, it's empty now. Okay, sorry, to which path he selected? Probably is, yeah, I selected the area path of the online reservation system, right? All these requirements are part of online reservation system area. This is the default area that is created. Okay, now let me go ahead and change, uh, okay, change this guy, okay, middleware, remove this online reservation system from this part, remove it. Now he is only part of middleware. By default it will get saved. Okay, now if I come here, if I refresh, now you see the middleware is not having any features, even no backlog. The reason, all the uh, features that I created part of online reservation system, and this guy middleware guy is part of only middleware area path. If you that is the reason he is not seeing anything. If you go back and add uh, the other area to him, like along with this, if I go and add the default area like this, right, save and close. Now if you see, it already knowing, something has been changed. Now refresh this. Now you see, it is showing all the features that are part of the area path called online reservation system. So this is how you can manage like what requirements to be displayed under each team dashboard, or you can call it as a Kanban board. Actually, some people call it dashboard. So this is how you can manage what are the requirements to be displayed under a specific team's Kanban board. Why you need it? This is to track the development, right? Let us say I'm a team lead of middleware. I need to see how many are in progress, how many are done, how many are in the new status. Okay, similarly for your backlogs as well, how many are approved, how many are committed, how many are completed. This is to track and plan your activities basically. Okay, this is how your manager or lead can track it. And this is how you can help basically by going and you basically ask questions your project manager. Hey, okay, you have this middleware team, you want to what he wants to see. Basically he wants to see the items of requirements of DB team as well, the requirements of UI team as well. You ask such kind of questions. If he says yes, then you will go and configure accordingly. You will go and add the areas basically. So that's how you help your project teams in terms of how these boards can be displayed. Make sense?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So it's 8:15 already. What we do, we'll continue. We just, at this level. What is this? Where is this? Did I close my, yeah. We are just here. Now, tomorrow we'll do the sprint planning and you will get the sprint backlog. So that will close, your iterations, etc. Okay, I will show the iterations. And after that, there are some advanced configuration changes that as a DevOps engineer you have to do basically. Okay, guys, let me know if I am little slow so that I can make it faster. Okay, slow
Okay.
or adequate or faster.
Adequate.
It was
Okay,
fine for me.
okay, yeah. So because I'm spending time, how it looks like in manual or in a general way, and what you need to do in your boards, right? Otherwise, what happens? I can simply go ahead and do all the settings basically. Yeah, this is how you do. This is how you do. But you don't need me for that thing because you already experienced. You know how to go and do it. But you need to know the scenarios and the concepts basically. Okay. I would suggest, you guys can go ahead and repeat the same thing. It hardly takes, 15-20 minutes for you. Just go and try it actually. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Thank you. We'll catch up tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.